Hey, hi, hello, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be going through all of my current WIPs, except we're going to be doing a little bit of a twist with it because there's a lot in here that I think we can take care of today. I'm going to take you through them, but we're also going to do a little challenge where I see how many of the WIPs in my WIP bucket I can actually finish off and clear out today. Let's go. These aren't in any particular order, to be honest. I have quite a few blankets, I have a few sweaters, I have I think one or two tops in here. I like to think of my WIPs in two different categories: actively working on and have set down. Generally speaking, the actively working on should be near the top, except I was going around my house and I was throwing things in here, and so they've all kind of been muddled together and just like thrown in here all together, and they're just like not completely in any order at this point. But I do know for a fact that my most actively work on project is this star blanket, which is wonderful, beautiful. It is something that I am actively working on. I have my stitch marker for it right here. I plan on finishing it as soon as I have time to sit down and finish it. I don't know if I will have time to finish this today. I hope I will, but I basically am on a single crochet row, and then I need to do 2 rows of the granny stitch and then a single crochet row, and then 2 rows of double crochet and then a single crochet row, and then I have to decide if it's big enough or not there, or if I'm going to continue on and do like another set of those, but then that would be it. So there's a chance this could get finished today, but also I need to tie in all of my ends. It's going to be if I have time, this will be the last project I get to today. So I'm gonna put that over there to the right in my going to attempt pile. Up next, I have this, which is my Centaur star blanket. So wow, another star blanket, Amanda. You're so original. You have such good ideas, such good thought. I wanted to do another one of these bonus mandala bundles on it, but I feel like I've just lost interest. I feel like once I realized that I can like mix and match different textures and vibes and all of that into star blankets, I was like, I don't want to just do gradients together, silly. I want to do so much more fun things. So I looked at this and I realized that I am like barely any ways into a row above a single crochet row. So if I just undid a little bit of the row I'm currently on, I could just tie it off and call it finished. And it's big enough that it could be a lap blanket. I know you can't quite see my lap, but it's big enough that it could be a lap blanket. So this will absolutely get done. I don't know if it'll be my first project or not, but it's going on the yes, we're doing this today, and this will get just added to my yarn that I use up in the future. I'm gonna grab this project next because it has a needle sticking out of it, or a hook. I always say needle and hook interchangeably, but we've got this project here, which is my moss stitch blanket. It is using this Big Twist Supernova in the color Blue Planet yarn, and I really like this yarn. I do feel like the light blue is kind of an odd choice, but I think the yarn itself is really nice and really pretty, and I love all of the other colors and how they come together, but I hate using anything below a 5mm. I have realized it's not for me. Also, this is my only 4mm hook, and it's been stuck in this project for so freaking long. So I have decided that, especially with all of the really fun combination of texture blankets I've been doing, I think this yarn would be better used for mixing and matching with other things instead of all on its own. So I want to frog this. I want to put all of this yarn, so I have 2 that haven't even been touched that can just be put onto the wall, and I want to frog all of this, wind this up, and I want to put this into the wall as well to be up for grabs for any other future projects. I don't know how easy this will be to frog, which means if it's not very easy, we're gonna get to attempt the putting it in the freezer and seeing how that goes challenge. This is my Susan Bates ergonomic 4mm hook. I basically only use Susan Bates hooks except for my 7mm, which she does not make, and I have that in my furls, which I do love and adore. Next, we have a project I absolutely will not be finishing. This is it's eventually going to be my freeform sweater. So I've been experimenting with like freeform and abstract crochet. And so this, I talked about this, I think it wasn't last week, I think it was 2 weeks ago, in my 12 dream projects video. Right at the very end, I mentioned this project. So this right here is supposed to be the center, and then this will reach up around here, and eventually it's going to be a whole sweater that's just very loose freeform, not following a pattern. I only have this much, right? I will put that back into her bag where she lives with all of her yarn, and she sits and judges me from the corner normally. And then we have this project that haunts me. If you saw my blankets video where I walked through all of my blankets that I have ever crocheted, I talked a lot about this one in there. This project freaking haunts me to this day. This was the second blanket that I ever started. The first one that I ever started, I actually finished, and I love it, and it sits on my bed every single day, and I use it every single day. But this blanket, I have never, ever, ever, ever come back to. It's huge. It's like the size of this room, I swear. That is hyperbole, but it's big. It's big, and it's supposed to be, I think you're kind of getting the vibe, like a gradient of colors, and from like one side it's supposed to be really light to really orangey, and then when you go down that side it gets like really dark, and when you go down this side it's like really like losing color. It's such a cool idea. I definitely like saw something similar on Pinterest, I think, at one time, and I like stole the idea, but I'm never going to finish this blanket. It's been sitting here, I think, let's just call it 2 years. I don't know if it's been a full 2 years at this point. And I've realized, like, I started this blanket because I needed the help just practicing crochet. I needed the help just practicing my stitches. When I look at the original stitches that I was doing, I can like see that I was not as good. Like, oh my goodness, I was not as good at making stitches. First off, I don't have a need for this. I have so many blankets that I love and cherish already. And second, I don't have a want to work on it. I think I want to take this apart and use these granny squares for something else. Use the ones I already have. I'm thinking it would be really cool, especially with like these colors over here, if I have enough of them, to make a sweater. I think I might be able to do that today, especially because right back here I have the yarn that I use to stitch them together. So I'm gonna put this in the pile of things to work on. And oh, like these blues, like I think it would be really cool. Next up, I have this beautiful, oh, it has a hook in it. Here's my 5mm ergonomic Susan Bates hook. I do just leave them usually with my projects when I'm actively working on a project. This is this blanket. I don't remember the pattern that I'm following. I got it off of Pinterest from someone's blog. It's a free pattern. I'll link it down below. I love this project. It's so much fun to work on. I really like this yarn. It is also I'm gonna grab one I'm not using, a big twist Supernova yarn, but it is in the color Mars Landing. If you're wondering, these are from Joann's, so they are like discontinued at this point. I'm so sorry. I do plan on fully finishing this. There's no way I finish this today though. Next up, I have my Monet. This was going to be a quilt blanket, but I have decided that, here's the thing. I got all of this yarn from Joann's. Joann's is out of business. I have realized that I don't have enough of a lot of this yarn to finish this project. I'm very inspired by the Impressionists. I'm very inspired by Monet. I love art so much. I went to art school, in case you guys don't know. I feel like that could be a whole entire like explanation podcast in and of itself, because I get a lot of questions a lot of the times about how I like know how to combine texture and color and composition and everything, and the answer is always just art school, but there's so much more to it than that. That's just kind of like a generic answer, but anyways, art school. What I want to do with this is I want to take these apart and I want to repurpose them into a different concept. Part of what I'm thinking now is like, I have kind of a rough idea in my head of a center out granny, not a granny stitch, but a center out double crochet It would be kind of like a granny stitch, but no gaps in between them. And I would just be really like free flowing with which colors I choose and stuff. But I don't know exactly if that's what I want to do. But what I need to do with this is at least take these squares apart. I'm going to put this onto the yes pile and see if I can get to just unattaching the squares today. If I have time, which I doubt it, we'll think of a new concept for this. Okay, these ones are attached to balls of yarn and all of the yarn is tangling together, so this is difficult. Next up, I have this top, this beautiful, I'm not following a pattern for it, but I do want to write a pattern at some point for this top. So this was just me kind of practicing and figuring some things out. So it's this beautiful, I have this burgundy yarn from, it's Big Twist, so unfortunately it's not made anymore. It's definitely not the wine because I have wine over there. I love the wine color, but this I think is the burgundy. And then I have this, I love this yarn. I got this a while ago, but I don't think they changed their colors. So this is in Birchwood Cottage, and it's, if you're wondering, it's just like a raglan, except I stopped at the armpits and now I am just continuing to go down. Once I figure this out and I get into it, I will work out a pattern and I will do like a tutorial for this. I just don't have that now. I would absolutely say that this is something that I could very easily finish today if I wasn't doing all of those. I would put this on the maybe pile if I manage to finish everything else, but since I'm already putting my star blanket on the maybe pile, we're not gonna put this on the maybe pile. I'm gonna be realistic with myself here and not like stress myself out. There's a label in here, string of yarn in here. My cat's coming over to investigate. Hi baby, do you want to be in the video? Oh no, he just wants to be at the edge of the video. So I'm gonna put this in the no pile, but for not you guys seeing, it's actually just going back in the bucket. He wants the string. No, you don't get the string. And then the final project, which absolutely won't get done today, is my ghost sweater. So I want to make sure I hold this up the right way, which I didn't do. This is my ghost sweater. I am absolutely in love with, obsessed with the band Ghost. Like, second favorite band of all time. So when I was looking for merch, which you guys have probably noticed, I do wear a lot of their merch. Actually, I'm wearing Hosier's merch today. This and them encompasses basically all of my favorite music. So, you know, broad scope of music that I listen to. I was looking for specifically a maroon sweater with just their logo on it. I love maroon. Maroon is my favorite color right now, and it has been for over a year. So I just wanted like a simple maroon sweater with logo, right? I could not find it. Couldn't find it. So I made it. But this part right here, which to be fair, I'm not very good at tapestry crochet or intarsia or whatever you want to call it, but to get to here took me 17 hours. The cat is trying to play with my string. 17 hours! I started this back in November, and I worked on this like really heavily for I think like one weekend, and then I like haven't picked it back up because I'm like afraid of how long it's gonna take me. This is the pattern I'm following. This is just like for the grid part, so I did like a bunch of like single crochets just to get up here. Look how much more I have to do. I think I'm on row 29 of the grid, and I have to get to row 54. Hello? So there's no way I'm working on this today, but I have like challenged myself to try and finish this. I think I said before the end of April, but maybe it was before the end of May. I'll have to like look at my journal and figure out like what I actually said with that, because I want to wear this. I want to wear this as more than just like a hat on top of my head. So what did I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 whips, I think. Hold up, let me make sure that count. No, 9, because I have the one behind me. 4 that I'm definitely not going to touch today. And I have 5 that I think I could frog, finish, or fix today. It is 11:30 right now. Look at that. Eyes everywhere in my house looking at you. It is 11:30 right now. I think I need to go consume some caffeine, get some food into my system, and then possibly clean off my space, and then we can sit down and get going. So what I'll do while I'm doing all those other things is I'm just gonna stick this in the freezer. Actually, I'm gonna cut this off here, cut her off here. Oh, I should have left some string to pull. Okay, there we go. And I'm gonna go stick this in my freezer downstairs, and then I will come back in about an hour and we'll see if that was enough time. I'm not gonna have it bunched up in my freezer, but we'll see if that was enough time for this to get chilly. I am back from having my breakfast, I guess technically. I have the rest of my cup of tea, and I've decided that I'm going to start with the projects that need to be frogged in some way. I checked the yarn just now downstairs that's in my freezer, and it is pulling a lot better, but I think it needs some more time on it. So I'm gonna start with these two because they need to be frogged. I'm gonna start with actually this one because it really just needs to have like half of a row frogged, so it's gonna be a really quick, easy win for me. Let's get set up at my desk here. So if you just wanna chill there, I have to find, here we go, the end, and we're just gonna roll. Okay, we're right back at the beginning now, so lose the stitch marker, find that initial chain. I'm going to cut. I have now gained back this ball of yarn, so I'll put this in my scraps, which is awesome. I am going to make sure I don't undo the slip stitch I did, but I am going to chain, pull through, tighten, and now I just need a needle. This is my tapestry needle, one of them, so that I can tie in this end. And then I did see that I do need to tie in the end at the center. Here is the finished star blanket. So that is one project, what did we count, out of 5 down. Next, of course, is this. I don't know how easy or difficult this is going to be, but I basically need to undo these green threads, which I was doing, I think it was a single crochet. It seems to be so far pretty simple. Let's get going and see how quickly I can get these undone. Right now it is actually 12:33 on the dot. I started that I think at 12:16. So that took me about 15 minutes to get all of that fully polished and set. So we'll call this 12:30 that we're starting. It is 12:54, so that took me 20 minutes to do. I did have to end up cutting a lot of this yarn, so I'm not going to keep any of this, not even for my like scrap bowl, because this type of yarn is not great for that. But I have, let me show you, this whole pile now of these squares that will go back into, I keep this project in its own like box. So I'm gonna put those away and then we'll get started on the next thing. I now have this one, which is pretty cold. I don't know if it's gonna be cold enough, but we're gonna attempt it. And instead of me trying to unravel this all by hand, I do have my winder now set up at my desk so that hopefully that can just make it a little bit easier. I highly recommend, if you're doing this, get a movie or a TV show or an audiobook going. I have my audiobook playing. I just started The Unworthy by Augustina. I'm not gonna get her last name right, but I'm gonna attempt it. Betz Tarika. She's the woman who wrote Tender is the Flesh, which I didn't enjoy, but I wanted to give this one a try because I did, and so far, very interesting. I'm gonna get winding and we'll meet up soon. Never mind, this is absolutely not cold enough. I believe that the freezer works because it's better, but 2 hours wasn't enough. So we're gonna take this off my winder and we're gonna go and put her back in the freezer. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this today. I think this might need to sit in the freezer for like 24 hours. I might attempt again like late tonight, but we're gonna have to start working on a different project. Next up is going to be this one. So the first thing I need to do is take them apart. I was doing the continuous join with this like cream color, so I've just basically got to take the cream color off. Thankfully, I don't know how I did it. That was supposed to be unfortunately, I don't know how I did it, but thankfully I know I did it pretty much all like a continuous strand, and I didn't really tie in my ends, so that was the thankfully part. I can, once I figure out like where I started from, there's only going to be like a few strands I have to pull out. I also have switched now to watching Yellow Jackets because I have 2 episodes left in season 3, and then I'll be done with season 3. It's the last 2 episodes. I did just like take a break for about 45 minutes and do a few like household chores that I needed to, because I was like, oh my goodness, I like really need to do these things. So I'm back at it. I'm going to take these all apart, and then once I do that, I'm going to make a plan for how I'll turn this into, I'm thinking sweater. I'm not thinking cardigan because I have a hard time doing cardigans from granny squares. I just finished season 3 of Yellow Jackets, and all I'm gonna say is I loved it. I saw online that not everyone is loving the ending. I don't care. I loved it. I loved it. I loved both of those episodes that I just watched. Were they sad? Yes, at parts, but I really liked it. I have a call with my friend now. We were supposed to call 2 hours ago, but she's not been feeling very well, so she had to like postpone it a little bit. So I think we're gonna start like in the next 5 to 10 minutes. So I wanted to quickly do a check-in because I don't know when I'm gonna next get to check in. This is all I have left to disconnect. I will show you on my desk what I've done in a second, but while I've been doing this, I have put 5 squares to the side that I will not be using in my sweater. These ones because I really do not like this dark gray, and I have another square that is eerily similar to this one, and I like this light gray a lot better. And I already think I have like way too many squares. I'm like, okay, if these are kind of similar to the other ones, I'm just not going to use them. So far I have 3 of them, and I think, yeah, that's all of them. So I'm just going to unwind those and use the yarn. I have like a little pile of like baby yarns that I keep, and one day I'll figure out what to do with them. I also am not going to use this one because I don't like it. Simple as that. And then I'm not going to use this one because of 2 reasons, and I'm trying to see if there's another one like it. 2 more like it, so I won't use those 2 either, but this one for sure. 1, because this was the very first granny square I ever made, so I do kind of think I'll keep it. I did it so wrong. I tried to do the, I don't know how well you're gonna be able to see, but I did them into the stitch of the chain because I didn't understand what I was supposed to be doing, that you're supposed to do it into the hole. And so I feel like you can really tell like around here that something is wrong. Like everything about it is just so wrong, and it's kind of funny to look at. Like if you look at it at a distance, it's really not that bad, but if you look at it closely, it's so wrong. And I can also feel that this yarn feels different than the other yarn, which I'll talk about that a little bit more in a second, but this actually doesn't follow the pattern of the rest of the squares that I did, this particular square. So that's why I also don't want to keep the other 2 that match it, because all of the rest of them I did 1 color, 2 colors, 1 color, or I did 1 color, 1 color, 2 colors. But this is the, or I did 2 colors, 1 color, 1 color. Like I always have 2 colors, which is like the 1 color but 2 rows always touching. And this is the only one where I have the same color not touching. So I don't like it as much. So I will disconnect those. As I have been disconnecting, I have found 2 of the cream that are definitely not the same yarn, and I do think I remember when I was doing this that I had to like buy more cream. So those 2 will get put into my small scrap yarn pile that I don't really know what to do with, but I'll have something to do with it later. And the rest of these, so look, you can even like tell the difference in size. Like these two are the small ones, these two are the big ones. It might be too bright, I'm sorry. It's a big difference. So I'm just keeping those to the side. I don't think there's any more of the small, but just in case, I'm keeping them on my desk separate in case I find any more. So let me show you all what my desk looks like right now, as I am not even done yet. So this is the pile of ones where it wrapped around 2. These are the piles where it's wrapped around once, like 1 square. These and these is everything that I am keeping, and this is everything I'm not keeping, and then this is everything I still need to do. But I do need to like map this out and figure this out, although I don't know if I'm gonna totally be able to focus on that while she's talking. So if that is the case, I do think I might pick up the maroon tank top that I showed this morning next. Let me get it. This one, and that is simply because I just think I could get this accomplished while I'm on the phone with her, because if I'm going to be listening to her, she has like a lot of things to catch me up on. This is something I don't have to actually think and count, whereas my star blanket and this project I have to think and count on. That's what I'm thinking about doing. I know I said that this was like not actually a maybe. Well, guess what? She's actually a maybe now. Okay, I'm gonna set this down next to my desk and I will connect with you guys probably, at this point it'll be in a few hours, so all of this will be unraveled and that project down there might be finished, might not. I don't know where we stand. It's 9 p.m. right now, and I have officially unraveled everything. I have so much yarn in front of me, and then I have made 1 sleeve. I laid everything out on the floor how I want it to be laid out, and then my cat is now laying on it, so I can't even show it to you. He owns it. And I'm not gonna make him move because it's so dark in here anyways. I don't really think you'd get a good view even if I like turn the bright overhead lights on. That's fine, because I think what I'll do instead is I will just keep working tonight on this, and then tomorrow morning when we have lights I will do a final recap of everything I did today. But I did not get as far on this project as I wanted to today. I think I was over ambitious on that, which is okay with me. I did make a lot of progress on everything as a whole, and I'm not done crocheting for the night, but I wanted to do like a final check-in because I'm done being on camera for tonight. So what I did, I finished on doing everything. I sewed 12 squares together, which is going to be, I think, my left sleeve. We'll have to see how that actually lays out on my body. And then I did just like a little cuff. What it is a single crochet all the way around, except every, I don't remember if it was my 3rd or 4th stitch, I did 2 into the stitch, and then a triple crochet, and then a single crochet all the way around. I did that because I did want to add just a little bit of like a bell sleeve like growth at the end, and you can see that right there. And the sleeve is really nice, really long on my arm, so I think it's going to attach like here onto the sweater, like about here-ish, so you can see. And that's before blocking, so very happy with that. I am sewing everything in, so it's slow going, but I decided to do that instead of like crocheting because I just wanted like a little bit flatter. And I probably should have like not put these together and like steamed them flat, but I wanted to like actually be looking at something. So I have like these and these, which like won't be used in the project, so I'll unravel those at some point in the future and just use that yarn in something else. And there's a couple of squares in this sleeve that I think I'm just gonna alter slightly because I think the gradient isn't like exactly how I want it to be. So I'll need to do that tomorrow as well when I like actually go to do that sleeve, if I do that sleeve tomorrow. This WIP might go back into the WIP bucket and I might not work on it right away. I don't fully know like what I don't finish today when I'll pick this up again. I guess like let me know if you'd be interested in seeing me finish this project. Like my cat's now moved to the body of the sweater, and he's like moved all of the sleeve squares around. Like they're not in a different order, they're just all like cockeyed. Let me know though if you would want to see like a video where I finish up this project, and maybe like what I could do is a part 2 to this where I work on finishing my star blanket, finishing the top, finishing this, and then unraveling the project that's in my freezer. And then I don't know, there's probably some other stuff that I could do. Good morning. It's the next day. I'm still attempting to wake up, I'm not gonna lie, but I'm gonna show you my progress on this blanket to sweater, and then we're gonna talk about everything that we've done in the last 24 hours, and then we're gonna end the video. Yay! So I have this blanket sweater laid out on the floor next to me. So that is sleeve number 1. It's actually been all attached, and it is like a sleeve, and it's beautiful. This right here is sleeve number 2, and I do want to like redo some of how it works because I feel like it's really dark and then like really medium so suddenly. So I need to rework some of those squares. This over here is the front panel with one of the side panels. And this over here is the back panel. I haven't yet laid out the other side panel, but I do have some squares here that are up for grabs. Basically what I still need to do is I've realized the back panel is like so gray. I have a lot of that like medium gray tone. Like it's a lot of like this kind of looking stuff or like this kind of looking stuff. And so I want to go through, and there's a lot of them where it's 7 of them where the dark gray is on the outside, either 1 or 2 rows. I want to switch that either for this orange color, this dark brown, or this teal color, because I just like those colors and they're so much prettier and they're so much more like colorful, and I just don't like that gray as much. And why not do it when it's gonna be like pretty simple? I already did that on I think 2 squares where I just like swapped out the outermost row for a different color just to kind of make it work better for me. And then like I said with the sleeve, I'm gonna possibly add some like darkers into the like medium and maybe some mediums into the darkers. So I'm gonna have to like play around with how I want to do that with the colors a little bit, or if I just want to like move squares. So there's gonna be some work done there. I don't know how many hours I spent on this yesterday. I was on the phone with my friend for 2.5 hours, and I worked on this the whole entire time, but I was like talking and working, so it wasn't like full focus. And then I worked on this, like I stopped to have dinner and I did some other things, but I worked on this until around midnight last night. I was watching the newest season 7 of Black Mirror, so I know I was like really focused on TV and not on this. But I'm just doing like a hand sew, and so that doesn't take like, it's not hard, but it takes some time. And so it's just, I don't hate it. Like I'm not having a miserable time, but this is definitely taking me a lot longer than I thought it was going to take me. So I'm like pretty dedicated though to finishing this up. Like I feel like I actually want to work on it today, which is surprising because normally like something like this where I'm attaching granny squares, I'd be like, good Lord, don't make me work on this anymore. And I think part of that is because like it's coming out so cool. Besides that, in this video we separated all of my Monet blanket squares. So I had a bunch that were attached together, and now they are no longer attached together, which is great because that leaves me with a like blank slate to start over with, which I really needed. And I finished this blanket, which feels fantastic because this has been kind of haunting me as well, I feel like recently. I did not get to work at all on my other star blanket, and I did not get to work at all on the like maroon top, which is fine because both of those were kind of like maybe projects. I definitely was a little over ambitious, and I definitely shouldn't have started basically at noon, but I was really tired this weekend. I had some stuff happen with work where I had to work really late one night, and so I needed the sleep. With that being said, I would definitely do this again because I feel like I accomplished a lot, and I'm really glad that I just like thought through my WIPs. So there will definitely be a volume 2 coming one day, and hopefully one day soon, because I want to work on all of this. Maybe volume 2 won't be like all in one day. Maybe I'll give myself like a week or something. I don't know. Let me know down below what you're interested in seeing. And if you like crochet, then give me a subscribe. We're here to talk about crochet and really exciting and fun things, and I'd love to talk to you more in the comments down below. So thanks for watching. I really appreciate you, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.